Well, I think overall expectations are lower than they were last June when we had the first summit, and that's reflected in what Donald Trump's been saying. Remember all the razzmatazz surrounding the summit in Singapore. This was the first time that a US president had met someone who's considered as an international pariah. And there was a real hope that we could go from what looked like the threat of war with all the insults we'd seen the previous year to a situation where there could be a denuclearization of the Korean peninsula. But now the wish list is more modest. Donald Trump has said he's just looking for a pause in testing, or rather he wants the pause to continue. He says, as long as they don't test, then I'm happy. The last time that Pyongyang tested nuclear warheads or missiles was back in 2017. Also, he's dangling again the carrot that there could be a better future for North Korea if it ditches its nuclear weapons, saying the country could become one of the world's great economic powers. Above all, he's again playing up his good relations with the North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. NBC gained this exclusive video of Trump making these comments in Florida. Let's have a look.
We have a terrific relationship, and we'll see where it goes. Who knows where it goes, but we'll see.
Well, pretty vague there as far as expectations go. Let's just see where it goes. And of course, there has been criticism, notably from Democratic politicians in the US. And of course, the US intelligence, who said there'd been no concrete steps really taken since the first summit. But North Korean media are saying, don't talk this summit down.
Well, with that in mind, what can we actually expect to happen at this second summit? Well,
there's lots of speculation. On denuclearization, for instance, there are officials in South Korea and also in Washington saying perhaps they will agree to allow inspectors in to observe North Korea's nuclear reactor, one of them being dismantled. Perhaps they'll set up liaison offices, even perhaps a tourist zone in North Korea. There are suggestions that there could be a formal end declared to the Korean War of the 1950s, which of course ended in a truce and not a treaty. Some analysts are suggesting the Washington administration may use the location of Vietnam to show, here's an example of what you could achieve. Look, it had decades of war, it was a communist country, now look at its success. Others are pretty sceptical about whether that could make any headway. But some analysts are also detecting a shift in the US position, whereas before they were saying you've got to get rid of nuclear weapons completely before we make concessions. Now they're just talking perhaps about meaningful progress. But Donald Trump, what will be above all very different this time is that he's going to be hit by domestic woes on Wednesday. Whereas last June there was all the fanfare around international headlines about this grand summit in Singapore. Now there's going to be a split screen between Vietnam and Washington, where, of course, Trump's ex-lawyer Michael Cohen appears before a congressional committee, and lots of observers are going to be looking at that to see what more dirt may come out.